All right, well, let's move on to kind of a surprise announcement. I don't know that anybody knew it was coming so much as we knew it was eventually going to come. We got a Last of Us Part 2 remastered announcement that just kind of came out of the blue. Yes. Sony just dropped this bomb on us, like, hold the mic.
And now you know why I had The Last of Us 2 running on the Mac.
Yep.
While I was talking to the Portal.
Yep.
It really isn't a surprise, given the fact they've already remade number 1 for PS5.
Right.
This one is to me, it's less of a remake, hence it's called remastered rather than remake, because there's really not a massive amount of upgrading they can do on graphics. The game is already so stupid ass gorgeous on the PlayStation 4 that really the only thing they can do is like resolution for the most part.
Yeah.
The game still stands up to the vast majority of games that release on a daily basis. It's so gorgeous. It's insane. Anyways, being announced for it is unfortunately for you PC guys. It is a PlayStation exclusive for the time being. No doubts it's going to come to PC probably within. I would honestly imagine between 4 and 6 months. I can see it coming out sooner rather than later. But so first off, if you already own the game, it's only going to be a $10 upgrade, regardless if you have a physical or digital version of the game. So a $10 upgrade is a pretty sweet sale. But it also comes with several other enhancements. Anyways. Obviously there's going to be graphical enhancements. There's going to be your resolution bump. There's going to be a frame rate bump. There's going to be a fidelity mode. Blah blah blah. All that typical stuff. But if you haven't noticed in the gameplay that they've shown so far, is there's new costumes that they're going to add to it. Cool stuff. But the main thing that's the big deal, at least in my opinion, is that the game is actually going to come with three new levels, which are, what do they call them? They call them the lost levels.
Yeah.
They are essentially like developer levels that never made it into the final game. So they haven't really given us a lot of detail on that. But as me and Russ were talking about before the podcast started, is they more than likely totally fleshed them out, built them completely, and then they are launching them with this remastered version. And then the probably the biggest reason to consider this, if you haven't, or if you've already played the game, is that they're bringing a new, it's called No Return. It's a roguelike survival mode, which allows you to play different characters that you've never been able to play in the games in the past, such as, man, her name escapes me at the moment, but Ellie's lover chick starts with a D.
Oh, is that who plays in that? I didn't know that.
Well, I don't think it's just her. I think it's kind of really your option.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It seems like to me you can choose who you play. So you can choose to play as Ellie or Joel or whoever in this rogue mode. That's my impression, anyways. I don't know if that's the case. They haven't specified, but it feels like to me based on what I've read. And again, as a $10 upgrade, like, hell yeah, why not play the game in its best mode with additional content that's not just, your typical resolution and frame rate bumps. They also have there's a couple of guitar segments in the game, because if you remember from the very first game, if you played it, Ellie actually asks Joel to teach her how to play the guitar.
Right.
And so that's part of the story of number 2, is that he actually did show her. And so as you're, running through the destroyed world, she runs across the guitar. And so she's like, oh, sweet, and starts playing it. And they kind of give you a little bit of free play there, but it's not very long. So that's one of the other new additions to the game, is you have complete free play mode of the guitar. So
nice.
You just have fun with it.
Nice.
So it's like almost like a little mini game.
Play some Enter the Sandman.
Right. So they add the cool thing about it too is I don't actually remember if when he teaches her to play it in The Last of Us 2, I don't remember if you play as him, but in the trailer, if you're paying attention, it actually does show him playing it, but it shows that little mini game of essentially playing the guitar.
Gotcha.
So either way, I know there's a ton of controversy around this game. When it leaked before it launched, there was so much complete and utter horseshit where people took a lot of things out of context.
What? Leaks made people mad when they didn't know the full story? Oh no!
Right?
I can't believe
there
it.
There was a lot of bullshit. They were like, "Oh my god, it's gone woke," and like, don't get me wrong, if it would gone super woke, I probably wouldn't have been super happy about it either. But it actually, when all that leaks came out, I was like, "Fuck," I'm kind of worried. to be fair. And so my wife actually read up on all this stuff, and she goes, I don't know if you want to play this. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck all that bullshit. I'm going to buy it and play it anyway because I know I can trust Naughty Dog. And I'm glad I did, because there was a little bit of woke stuff in there, in the sense that there was a trans character, but it was like, hey, this character wants to be the other gender, and that was about it.
Fair enough. I mean, that's
Ellie
nothing we don't see in any other form of media this day and age.
Yeah, that was straight it. That particular character was basically kicked out of their society because they wanted to be a boy, and that was it. Nothing else.
Got it.
End of story.
Got it.
And then the other character, her name escapes me. Not Ellie, but the other one.
Abby?
She's Abby. There you go.
Yeah.
She's super ass butch. But the thing is that's thoroughly explained through the storyline. And like, she's not trans or any of that stuff. She's just butch, and they explain it 100%.
Nice.
That's like the extent of it. And then honestly, for me, the only thing that really was like, that's kind of dumb, but at the same time I can see it happening, is the way they kill Joel.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, shitty. They could have done it better, in my opinion, but it's also not my story to tell.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the way that Neil Druckmann and his team decided to tell the story. It does make you kind of hate Abby for good reason, but Abby also kind of had a good reason to kill him.
Yep.
If you consider all things considered. But then that's another problem I have, that basically says that there's no good guys, there's no bad guys.
Yeah. It's just people.
Yeah, I sort of feel like that's kind of stupid, but it also does lay or shine the limelight on the fact that there is nuance to all the stories, every single one of them. So ultimately, the game was totally fucking worth it. It was an extremely good advancement on the first game. Awesome, wonderful addition, and $10 for an improvement for a PS5 version with new modes. Hell yeah, absolutely, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to say 3 things Naughty Dog did right here, and 1 thing they did wrong. 1, they made it a relatively cheap upgrade. Granted, you can't make it free. I got that. 1. They made it a relatively cheap upgrade, which is,
There it is.
2, they gave you a survival mode, which is a big advantage, right? So that's cool.
Yep. Gives you replayability.
Yep. 3, they just dropped it, and it's coming out in 2 months.
January.
Yeah, 2 months, right? There's your 3 they did right. Here's the 1 thing they did wrong. Why the fuck isn't the survival mode co-op? Just that one thing, man. And I get it. Like, they're working on factions. They got all that. But, like, dude, how much more fun would that be playing as, like, with your buddy, playing Joel and Ellie, or Ellie and Abby, or Ellie and Zoe, or whatever his or her girlfriend's name is? Like, dude, how much better would that be in a co-op experience? Just my thoughts. Like,
absolutely
missed opportunity there, but that's just my thoughts.
The game has segments where you're with someone else. Not the whole section, or not the whole game, but there's large enough sections where there's somebody else there where they could have easily implemented a multiplayer mode. And now that they're bringing it to PS5 with this new no return, or whatever the hell they're calling it, mode, they could have easily done so.
Yeah.
And I agree with you fully. And I mean, we could easily go on a tangent on the new Factions 2, which is like disappeared. They've given us extremely small updates over the course of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be essentially factions from the initial Last of Us, but with enhancements. But then apparently it ballooned into a massive new project that they basically decided to make it a new game. And there's been all sorts of reports that it's in development hell. And Bungie, so when Sony bought Bungie, they basically decided to not take over, but consult as the like head consultant on all of the multiplayer games that PlayStation makes. And apparently Bungie was unhappy with it, and so the Factions is like in some sort of development hell. I don't know, the reports are all the fuck over the place, but the one constant is it's been 3 years since The Last of Us 2 remastered, and we still haven't seen any gameplay. So they're probably accurate. I would love to see what it's becoming of it, because the first Factions was pretty fucking fun.
How fucking funny would it be to see them, like, just reverse and be like, oh, faction spun into a new Jack and Daxter game.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Because the next Jack and Daxter spun into The Last of Us. So how fucking funny would it be for Last of Us to spin back into Jack and Daxter? It'd be way too...
That'd be too convenient only because the Factions 2 is intended to be a multiplayer game. So how would you turn a multiplayer game into a single-player game?
Maybe you play as Jack and Daxter, so it's a multiplayer. I don't know.
There you go, co-op multiplayer.
I don't know. I thought it was funny. I was like, that would be really funny.
We can dream, right?
Yeah. So that's about it for The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Cool. I'm excited that hopefully that means we're one step closer to seeing an actual release for PC sometime next year. Now that we've got the definitive version of the game, so maybe we'll see some announcement.
I would honestly expect it by June of next year.
Yeah.
For PC.
Yeah, that would be great, and hopefully it launches in a much better state than the first remaster. But we're gonna move on to our final